Hey guys, it's Matt from Tackle.com. Today I'm going to give you a little clue on one of the techniques and one of the ways I approach catching larger fish in the wintertime. Now, I still focus on my points, ridges, creek channels, humps, and flats, the main ingredients for big fish, but I do it a lot shallower than most people do. When that water temp drops below 70 degrees, a lot of people have the inclination they have to get out to deeper water. They want to focus on main lake points, rock piles, humps. They want to be fishing that 50-foot, 60-foot zone. A lot of larger fish, I should say, do live their lives deep, but a lot of the biggest fish in the lake will live their lives shallow. In the wintertime, when the water temp drops around that 60-degree mark, we start getting trout stocks. And those of you that know about the trout stocks, they grow some very, very large fish. The bass and the stripers absolutely love those trout. So you got to think of it this way. Wherever they do stock in that lake, those trout aren't going to roam the first couple days. Maybe the day or so it'll take them to disperse down the bank. When they do disperse down the bank, they're not going to swim out in open water just like this. They're going to hug tight to the bank. They do not want to give themselves a position or get into a position where they do get eaten. So a lot of my fishing in the wintertime, based upon that whole principle, I fish high and tight to the water column. I'm going to fish in the upper 10 foot of the water column, tight, parallel down the banks. Now, I do focus on a lot of ledges. I focus on a lot of walls, tree lines, any spot that creates a positive feeding opportunity for these larger fish. What I mean by a positive feeding opportunity is fish have no hands. They don't have the ability to pick up a bait, put it in their mouth, and eat it. They have to ambush up against an object in order for them to feed. Now, that object could be your boat. It could be a grass line. It could be the dam. It could be rock piles, tree lines, whatever. So what I like to do in the wintertime is I think about, okay, where do they stock trout? Okay, where do you think those trout are headed? Were they headed, west, or were they headed east? And I look at the objects I have to work with. For instance, right here we have a dam. That's an excellent spot to target some of these fish with a swim bait, for example, which I do a lot of in the wintertime. But I'll focus on roads. I'll just look at areas that are key ambush spots, main lake points, a tree line off of a main lake point, a rock pile adjacent to a main lake point, areas where they can trap and pin trout against or pin bait against. So I'll go around the lake and I'll create a milk run, a series of very, very good spots that have, basically the point system as Bill Simmental talks about. Very, very good concept. You assign points to your areas. And what that does, you could actually follow some of his videos to find that, but it actually helps you pick apart throughout this whole lake 5 or 6 key spots. And all you do is rotate those spots throughout the day. Very, very simple process, and it can account for some very large fish if you pick the right ingredients. But like I said before, I like to focus high in the water column. I like to fish those shallow fish. A lot of those shallow fish are those big, lazy, lethargic fish that all they had to do is open their mouth, suck in a trout, go off to a ledge, retreat until they want to eat again. But there you have it. That's one quick technique or tip I have for the wintertime and how I approach larger fish. As always, we thank you for your business and look forward to helping you guys become better anglers.